Good morning. It's 8:50. We have Dr. Aaron Chapa here in studio today where we're going to be talking about hypertension, high blood pressure. Is nutrition involved? I feel like everybody deep down knows the answer to that question. Maybe it's not the answer that you want to hear, but we have Dr. Aaron Chapa here in studio from Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Go ahead and do me a huge favor. Share this video out. Start tagging some friends. I promise you have some people in your life that can benefit from hearing the information we're going to be sharing today. Dr. Chapa, how's it going today?
Good morning. This is Dr. Chapa, and I am fantastic. Gardy,
Awesome.
I'm glad to be here as usual. It's always a pleasure to see your smiling face and to share stories and just kind of kick off the week in a powerful way. So how's Taco Tuesday? Did you have any tacos this morning?
Not yet. So what I had this morning was like a little protein drink, some water and some protein mix, and that's what I had so far today. No tacos. It was actually chocolate peanut butter flavored, which is good. I like those things, but it's not taco flavored.
Have you ever seen those the Justin brand hazelnut? It's like a chocolate hazelnut butter. It is absolutely it's like a party in your mouth, man. It's awesome. And they sell it like HEB or Irma's Nutrition Store if you're in Nassau Bay has it. And but it's Justin's, and it's a hazelnut chocolate flavored nut butter, and it is absolutely rich with goodness. It's one of those clean Dr. Chopper friendly products, so it's one of my favorites. So
you know it's good for you.
Not only good for you, also excitingly to taste and entertain and tickle those taste buds.
So it's delicious too. That's what's up.
That is
awesome.
What's up. So yeah, man, we're gonna be talking about blood pressure today, hypertension. I know that a lot of people come into my office and have struggled with running numbers, high blood pressure, and not really have an idea what to do with it other than take hypertensive diuretics or beta blockers or different things that to try to get it to manage. And people always know that stress is a player, but we're going to try to talk to not just stress, because I get on the radio and I get in my office and I find myself sometimes feeling like I'm repeating myself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit like a broken record. And so I don't want it to just be the guy that just blames everything on stress. Just like I don't want to be the guy that blames everything, oh, that's a detox reaction or it's an infection. But it is.
Yeah.
It is those things. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? It is those things. And so now it's a matter of kind of breaking down what stress is and how it really affects our bodies and how that then can lead into something like blood pressure problems. So it's a fun topic because people are suffering with it. This is also kind of in that vein where I really get excited to talk about anything to do with the heart, because we have so many ways to enhance the heart of the body. And the heart is that magical pump that if it goes out, life stops very quickly. And so the heart's an important vessel that we take care of, and we want to read the signs. So some of what we'll talk about too is that is the heart, is the blood pressure going up? Is it a check engine light, or is it a problem? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I never understood blood pressure. Like I've had it taken, go to a checkup, or even, to be honest, going to like CVS, Walgreens, HEB. They have those machines where you stick your arm in there and it squeezes it real tight, and then it loosens up and it says, hey, that's A-okay, or hey, that's a little high. And I don't understand, like 100 over 70, 240 over this.
Yeah, and so they're check engine lights, right? That's ultimately what we're always looking for. And one of the things that Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is known for is that we don't just listen to blood work. We don't just listen to a high blood pressure number. If you go look in the medical research, if you go look in medical textbooks that are every medical school across the world studies from, like Guyton Physiology, Grey's Anatomy books. These things talk about what blood pressure is supposed to be, 120 over 80,
Mm-hmm.
with a healthy pulse, between 65 and 70 or whatever. So what happens is when the check engine light goes off, did it go off because you had a bad night of sleep? Did it go off because you've got some sort of mind racing issue that's needing urgent attention? What is driving it? So a lot of times people will get into a position where they they get one blood pressure reading high and they freak out. But these medical research documents and these books talk about you need like 3 or 5 days. I mean, minimum 3, 5 better
Of the same reading?
of a high blood pressure reading before you can call it hypertension. And never is it hypertension the day you go in to see the doctor, because everybody gets nervous when you get in the dental chair and they crank up the blood pressure meter and your blood pressure's high. Or when the insurance guy shows up at your house and runs the blood pressure because you want to put your best face forward in every dating relationship, right? Well, you want, especially with an insurance guy, because at the end of the day, he's going to dictate whether you're going to get your policy or not. Well, you walk into a doctor's office, it's the same thing. You want him to tell you you got a clean bill of health. And so if you go in there and your blood pressure is through the roof because you're nervous, well, but you've got the last 5 days of morning and night readings of normal blood pressure in the privacy of your own home, where you're most comfortable, where you spend more than 90% of your time, right? Mm-hmm. So this one-off of being in a medical office where you don't really probably want to go to the doctor for a checkup. Nobody really does. Because typically if you go to a doctor, you're going to a doctor for what reason?
Because there's something wrong.
Yeah, something's not. You feel your heart beating out of your chest. You feel your heart flip-flopping in your chest. You feel like an abnormal level of exertive fatigue, like you walk to the mailbox and you're winded, or you find yourself going up and down the stairs and you're winded, and you start going, something's just not right. I just don't feel like this is normal, like I should have this level of fatigue, and so I want to check into it. Well, blood pressure is just one of those factors that we can look at and determine, do I have a check engine light running? And if I have a check engine light, then I can investigate it further. But to walk into a medical office, that happens more often than you will shake a stick at, you get one bad reading and all of a sudden you're on hypertensive medication. I mean, I've even seen, and the worst is like when you go to the little blood draw screenings, and your blood pressure, comes out high because, one, I mean, it's 95 degrees, feels like 112 in Houston after church. You walk out to the little thing, you just, I don't know if you were up and down jumping around in the church like praising Jesus, and then you go out there and you climb up and you sit down and you've already eaten. You might have eaten too many donuts. I mean, who knows how much coffee you've had that morning. And then they do your blood pressure. Then all of a sudden you get this screening of high blood pressure, and you're like, and then you go to the doctor, and you're already kind of ramped up because you got that bad report at the screening, and now you go into the doctor's office, and you're not the wiser because now you got 2 readings that are abnormal on different days. Well, so for sure now it's got to be the issue. No. What I want you to really understand about the hypertension and the blood pressure is it is a check engine light, and we've got to break it down and look at it. So the top number, is looking at, the actual output pressure into the arteries, and the bottom number, the diastolic number, is the pressure on the heart. And so I do a lot of functional tests with blood pressure, and I can use blood pressure for a different matter, So I can have you lie down for 5 minutes, calm, cool, collected, take your blood pressure, see what it does, and then stand you up and see what it does. That's called, orthostatic hypertension, or whenever we're looking at this testing where you lay on your back and stand up, what does gravity do from a stress perspective on your physiology? Because when you stand up, you should get blood to your head. Mm-hmm. So your blood pressure in that case should rise 8 to 10 points. So you could have 150, which would be classically high, over, say, 95 is still classically high blood pressure. And whenever you do this Ragland's test or this orthostatic hypertension test in my office, lying to standing, it should go up 8 to 10 points. So 150 should now be 158 to 160. And yes, it went higher, but gravity said it needed to get blood to your head so that you didn't fall over and pass out, or that you didn't get dizzy or lightheaded.
We can go ahead and go on the FM right now.
Let's do it.
Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. I'm Gardy. Got Dr. Aaron Chapa from Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center here in studio. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out. If you are joining us on 99.5 FM, I'm excited that you're here. And you know what? I feel like you are going to learn something today. So go ahead and call and text a friend. Make yourself comfortable. It's a rainy day outside. I wonder what that does for your hypertension is probably good for it. I feel like it's relaxing.
Oh, man. I didn't even want to get out of bed this morning.
You know what? That's why you texted me.
I did. Well, no, I was actually leaving the gym whenever I texted you. But it was really awesome because, on rainy days, I just want to like lay in bed. But there was nobody at the gym. It was like a ghost town in there.
Is it nice whenever it's like that?
Oh, yeah.
It is, huh?
I mean, I just got my headphones on. I was like jamming to Last of the Mohicans this morning, that theme song, while I was doing some scripture memory. And I was like, yes, like the Holy Spirit's like dropping on me or something. It was awesome.
Man, that's cool.
And you could look out over the tennis courts and the marina where I work out, and you can just see rain just pouring.
It was thundering so loud. So me and Crystal, who's here, she's just off camera and she's a big help.
Hi, Crystal.
We were talking about like the thunder and the lightning and the rain, and she said she had flashbacks. She's finished school. She's been done with school for a long time. She said first thing like, I wonder if school's canceled. And it's like, wait,
I'm not in school anymore.
I'm an adult now. Like I'm not in school.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So rainy days. I mean, if you have the luxury of being able to lay in bed, an extra 20, 30 minutes, it's a lot easier on a rainy day than to pull yourself up out of bed. I'm a part of the 5 a.m. club. Y'all know what the 5 a.m. club is?
It sounds like I may not want to join, but tell me more.
Yeah. So the 5 a.m. club is the people that get up and have 3 hours or an hour or 2 hours to themselves where they get a lot of personal work done. And I'm not saying like emails. I'm not saying you paying your bills. I'm talking about like introspection, where you're walking with the Lord. You're growing. You're studying. You're developing your craft. You're making yourself more abundant, and you're giving yourself the quiet space and time to invest in you. You are your best investment. One of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn. Not the sports commentator, but the famous motivational speaker. He says, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one.
And so that fortune, I've really broken that down. That fortune is not just money. That fortune is how well do you invest in relationships? How well do you build, a ministry for Jesus? Because that's all of our vocation is to make disciples of many nations and spread the word. Our occupation drives that, and so the better I can be in my occupation, the better I can be in my vocation, and I always want that, and so that's the fortune that I'm looking for, those things.
Here's a comment from Wendy. She said, we do 4:30 over here, talking about the 4:30 a.m. club, waking up. She said, I'm ready for lunch right about now. I'm currently a member of about the 6 a.m., 6:30, maybe 7 o'clock if it's raining really good. Like today.
Yeah. Well, and the reality is any one of us could be a part of a later morning club, but they find, if you do statistical analysis, autobiography reading, if you look at great thinkers, great historians that actually made a difference in the world, they find that most people are the eagles that fly, in the morning, early to bed, early to rise.
Makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Who said that?
I'm going to say that was Jim Rome.
No, anything when in doubt, it's Ben Franklin probably. Okay. So, but there is a truth. The statistics show that the people that are the true blue movers and shakers of the world are people that get up early, long before the day, everybody else's days start. And I find that always interesting. Is motivational habits that have proven success over the years. Like I've read a book multiple times called "Change Your Habits, Change Your Life." And it's a study of about 300-500 people that were all self-made millionaires, and their lifestyle habits and the things that they did day in and day out as a keystone habit to success. And health and sleep are all parts of that. And sleep is another one of those driving factors that can mess with your blood pressure. So as we're talking about blood pressure here out in Radio Land, sorry I didn't reintroduce myself. This is Dr. Aaron Chapa, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Glad you're tuning in and glad that you're on the drive with us this morning. Stay safe, stay alert. It is wet out there, and but guess what? We got some good stuff to share with you still, and we're excited because people are walking around today with check engine lights going off on their body at all times. A check engine light is any symptom pattern that you were not genetically born with. It could be a headache. It could be belly pain. It could be a skin rash. It could be high blood pressure. It could be palpitations in your chest. It could be that you're a little bit dizzy. It could be a number of things. But you know you. And you know what it feels like to feel good, and you know what it feels like when you're not feeling so good, and so what do you do when you wake up in the morning and you feel like your blood pressure's up and your ears are red and you feel like something's just not right in your system? Well, you want to check your gauges, evaluate. What am I feeling about me right now? Do I feel tension around my head? Do I feel tightness in my chest? Do I have any radiating pains down my arm? How extreme is it? Does it sound like a heart attack? Most of the time it's not. Most of the time people are walking around with heart issues and symptoms that are strictly just mineral and essential fatty acid glitches. And one of the best, most amazing things you could do for yourself if you have high blood pressure is essential fatty acids, fish oils. And fish oils are huge. So I use cod liver oil. I use salmon oil. I use mackerel. I use all kinds of different. I'm thinking of one off the top of my head that I really like. And
I already took mine today.
Calamari oil is a fantastic one for the heart.
I like fried. I'm sorry.
Fried calamari.
Fried calamari oil pills. Oh.
Yeah, that would be interesting, I guess, maybe. But so it's interesting. Essential fatty acids drive the non-inflammatory health buttons of our cellular structures. And so, if you want good health, if you want to avoid allergens, if you want to have a healthy heart, if you want a strong, mighty brain, if you want every tissue, cell, organ, gland in your body, your joints to be lubricated, your digestive tract to be lubricated, I could go on and on. Fish oil is absolutely critical. Now, you want to make sure, though, and this is important as we're talking about blood pressure, as we're talking about supplements in general, that the fish oil that you're using is a reesterified triglyceride. I know that's a big word. Nobody's going to be able to write it down. But 95% of the market of fish oils available today are ethyl esters, which means that they're man-made, they're tampered with, and they're no good. They're rancid. And when you put rancid oil into your body, you drive inflammatory cascades that will create stress for all those same tissues, your brain, your heart, your joints. So what we're talking about right now is how do you, know? And so you can call the companies or you can just trust the source. For me, I use several products, Nordic Naturals. I use Orthomolecular. I use NutriWest of Texas and Standard Process for my oils. And I don't just use one type of oil, like Tune Omega if you've got more mental challenges, you need your brain to work better. Cod liver oil, really great for the heart and really great for hormones type stuff. Calamari, super stellar for the heart. And so we use these different, I even got kid versions. I brought the kid one. You should look at these. They're like cute little fish. And kids love it. They taste good. You should chew some up just for fun.
How many? Just take one?
Yeah, two. Doesn't matter. I just eat them because they're cool fish.
Because they taste good. Yeah.
And it's like a fun treat.
Oh yeah.
And so kids like eating those. And so they've also done studies, just as a quick aside, on that when you have high levels of EPA and DHA in the body, that children will have a higher IQ and a sustainable higher IQ with the use of good quality reesterified triglycerides as a fish oil base in their system. And that's because every tissue, every cell, every organ, every gland in your body has got a double layer of fat surrounding each and every cell. And so we need healthy oils to lubricate those healthy cell tissues so that whenever the brain tells the body to act, that the cells at the feet act as in unison with the cells in the hands and specifically the cells in the organ systems.
Okay, so as I read this and taste these delicious, they actually look like little goldfish. What's funny, and I understand you have to put this on here, but it says complete children's DHA/EPA dietary supplement, NutriWest, but then on the side it says keep out of the reach of children. Resistant.
Yeah,
but
again,
I understand.
But isn't it funny, right? We live in a world that is truly dictated by laws and regulations and
Yeah.
FDA approvals, and that product wouldn't even be able to be sold if they didn't stick a label like that on it.
I
Because
understand,
because it's just like the hot coffee thing in the restaurant that got sued because hot coffee spilled on them while they were driving in a car. Well, what do you mean I got to put a label on it that says contains a hot substance? It's
Right.
coffee. I mean, smash the like button if you if you believe that most of America until cold brew came around was drinking cold coffee. No, they were drinking hot coffee.
No, they'd get mad if they were served hot coffee.
And
I mean, cold coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, we get in this, and that's just, a different day, different conversation. But the reality is you cannot go wrong with good quality fats whenever you're looking at a good quality a healthy heart. And so a healthy heart will provide us healthy blood pressure, but we've got to look at what is other factors that could drive a person's blood pressure up. And so today we're talking about hypertension. And I love the conversation because this is walking around. My favorite story about this is I had a patient come in with high blood pressure, and I go through what we call barriers to healing testing. So we're looking for measure to figure out why the body isn't performing at its best. So would you agree high blood pressure is a sign that it's not performing at its best?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So this guy comes in, his blood pressure's been running hot. He's been on diuretics and high blood pressure pills, and he's tired, he's overweight, he's not feeling his best. And I start through the process of what we do in our office, and one of the things that popped up for him was a overconsumption of grains, specifically wheat. And so I said, all right, you've got to get off of wheat. We're going to start pulling that out of the diet. And he's like, oh, I don't think I can do that. And I'm like, why not? He goes, because I can't give up beer, and there's wheat in the barley. And I'm like, well, that's true. And I said, but you can switch to a cider. You can switch. There's many other options, if you can't give it up. He goes, yeah, but brother, I love my beer. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so it took me about a month to convince him just to give it a 2-week trial run, right? But I mean, because he was okay giving up the sandwiches and the tortillas. I mean, he was open to that. But I mean, but the beer, man, was like,
that's when you need to make a change. Seriously, you're like, oh, I can't do it. It's like, yes, you can, and you know what? I probably should.
Yeah, and that's right. And so he after about like I said, a month to 6 weeks or so, I got through to him to give it a shot. And remember, he's on medications, right? So he knows what his averages are running with medications, and I had him tracking it morning and night. And within 7 days, his blood pressure dropped way below like normal. Like it was below 120 over 80. It was like 118 or over 62 or something crazy. I mean, and not that 118 was the problem, but I mean, it was pretty substantial, right? And because this guy was running 140, 150 over 90 every day. And so to have that drop, and what was awesome and sad was that we found the answer, and G.I. Joes say, knowing is half the battle. But what's the other half the battle? Taking action and sticking with the plan, right?
Yeah.
So I always tell my patients, everybody gets better in my office if you do two things. You stick with it long enough and you follow through with the recommendations to the best of your ability. And so this guy comes in and says, I just can't give up the beer, man. And I'm like, dude, your blood pressure numbers dropped like almost 20 points. What do you mean? I said, this is exciting. He goes, I'd rather take the blood pressure pills and keep my beer. And I said, okay. I mean, what do you do? Like, I mean,
you can't force somebody.
That's right. I can't, help you if you don't want help.
You know what? I bet if you could force somebody, you would, just because you want them to be well.
Well, yeah, it'd be just like a parent instructing a child. I
Yeah.
want my kids to have a good work ethic.
Mhm.
I want my children to choose rightly and be moral and ethical. But I mean, how many times have we seen where helicopter parents and if you are one, you know it. But where we've seen repeat in history where we over-parent and we don't allow our children to make the mistakes, and then they rebel against everything we taught them, or they turn out to be very crazy in their adult lives because they never were able to make the decisions on their own that help them prove to themselves that they can do all things through Christ who strengthens them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a game. I mean, of delicate dancing with patience, with parenting, and leading. And I think ultimately, one thing is for certain that we've proven is no one can change anybody, except that Christ can. But I mean, no one in human form can. What we can do is set an example.
Even him, says stand at the door and knock. He can't force anything on you.
To your point, that is and he says, and he who, if anyone hears my voice and does action, opens the door, I will then come into him, dine with him, and he with me. That's Revelation 3:20. It's a great verse, and so that's what we need to follow, is that kind of way, and that means we change. And I find that too often people have bad keystone habits. They have habits that allow them to just keep hitting the snooze button, right? They have habits that allow them to just wake up and reach for soda instead, or coffee, rocket fuel, instead of reaching for water. Like, flush your system first thing in the morning. Do you know what your body was doing all night last night? It was detoxing from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And so if you were tossing and turning, that's an indicator that your body wasn't resting well. If you were dreaming wicked, wild, bizarre, funky, exotic dreams like we talked about last week, you weren't sleeping well. And those are contributing factors to your body not able to do its nighttime task in an efficient enough way that could potentially drive up blood pressure as a check engine light. So is blood pressure a problem, or is it a check engine light that's showing us that something else is breaking down in the system? And more often than not, it's the check engine light showing us that something else is messed up. So maybe we got to reassess sleep. So we've got to find out the details. Do you toss, you turn, do you thrash, you beat up your pillow all night long? Do you have wicked, wild, bizarre, funky, exotic dreams? Are you waking up every night to pee? What is happening during the night cycles when your body should be detoxing? Then you wake up in the morning and you stick a keystone habit like drink, if you can't drink 4, you start with something simple, 4 ounces of water, you chug it. But you build up to 16 ounces of water, and you flush your body of all those impurities that you put in first thing in the morning, and or that your body had detoxed through the liver and the different body processes through the night. That helps the heart not have extra stress, because if you've got stuff floating around in the bloodstream, the body has to keep it moving and do all of its other nutritional tasks. And I always tell patients that if I could unitize a toxicity problem in the body, if I could say, all right, this one unit of toxin, so it could be aluminum, it could be mercury, it could be chlorine, it could be the food dyes in your cereal, it could be the food allergies like milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, whey protein, or wheat, or dairy, or soy, or corn. Any of these things could be contributing to stressing out the body's ability to carry nutrition to a place. So they could be a toxic unit. That toxic unit then robs your body of 2 to 3 mineral units. Well, guess what organ really thrives on minerals?
I'm going to say your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Electrical impulses need to be firing on all 8 cylinders, and those electrical impulses are driven by mineral activity. So we use different minerals in our office: the reactive multimin, organically bound minerals, trace minerals B12, manganese B12, which is a isolated mineral, zinc products. I mean, I have so many mineral products in my office for different situations. When I have a depressed patient, it's niacinamide B6. I'm going high on niacin, and minerals, the B vitamins and those minerals help to calm that down. If it's somebody with arthritic stuff, I use a whole different pathway. For the heart, we load up on minerals primarily and fats. And we live in a world today that it's afraid of fat. Like, fat makes you fat. I can't have fat. Fat's bad. And I'm like, no, that's hogwash, man. That is you've been sold a bill of goods. It's not true. And so fat does not make you fat. The wrong fats can cause inflammation in the body. Processed food, junk food, candies, cakes, ice cream, sodas, things that are causing the body to be inflamed will derail us and stress out those cells, stressing out our heart, driving up our blood pressure, making our heart overwork, and the tissues don't get regenerated, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what diet really does to our system. But if we're eating clean, if we're eating healthily, and we're putting in good quality fats, avocado oil, coconut oil, butter, lard. People are going, what did he just say? Yeah, lard. You didn't hear me incorrectly. Pig fat is a very good fat. I mean, these fat has zero, and I think this is another contributing factor to people having hypertension is blood sugar imbalances. Fat has zero influence on blood sugar, whereas protein modifies it a little bit. You get a gentle rise in your blood sugar, and then it comes on down. But fat does not mess with insulin in the least. It's very stable. It's a completely different metabolic pathway that allows a blood sugar just to hold steady. It's like a log on a fire. It burns hot and it burns long, right? Mm-hmm. But when you put in carbs, and what do most people eat for breakfast?
Cereal.
That's right.
Sugar.
That's right. And because we start our day, and most people, what do they put in their coffee?
Creamer.
And more sugar.
More sugar.
And so when we put all these other stressors into our day-to-day, we're causing spikes in insulin, spikes in blood sugar, spikes in hormones like cortisol, and now all of a sudden we're creating our own stress storm, biochemically speaking. So the stress word really means a compilation of hormones being out of balance, and that could be blood sugar hormones, or that could be sex hormones or stress hormones. And when these are chronically out of place, these hormones can disrupt the digestive tract, so your ability to absorb food. And so now you put in good healthy foods sometimes can be inflammatory to you because you've got a leaky gut if it's gone on for a long time. And this is, again, what we always are looking for in patients. That's why we look at people's food logs. At Living Well, we believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level. And nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows you to either spiral out of control or get traction and move forward. And getting back to this fat conversation, if we can get people consuming good, healthy, quality fats again, then we find that people's HDL, their quote-unquote good cholesterol, goes up. Their bad cholesterol, quote-unquote, goes down. Their overall cholesterol levels out. Their triglycerides come down. Their risk for diabetes goes down, which is a great indicator for good heart health when you have a balance in blood sugar and a low hemoglobin A1C. When we look at all these things, we're considering blood work. We're considering symptoms. We're considering what it is that you're doing day to day. We're considering and teaching you how to assess the stress so that you can figure out emotionally where are you today and help you with tools through supplementation to either feed the heart if it's weak. I've got patients that have been told they have a weak heart because they did steroids, all their life in their youth, and then now they're paying the piper, so to speak. And they say, oh, the heart can't ever be strong again. Hogwash again. You were sold a bill of goods. Like the body was designed to heal. God created it to heal. And so, yes, it's wearing out. You know what I mean? And sometimes we do things to overstress it and to cause it to wear out too fast. But what if we started changing our habits so that we could change our life? Isn't that a good title? I love that. And so today's the day. So where do you start? It could be we're starting with a good healthy breakfast, putting in good quality fats and good quality protein only for breakfast and seeing how your body responds. And then let's look at, what I've seen too often. Another fun story. So I told you my wheat story. I got a patient that came in. She was a school lunch lady, and she worked in the cafeteria. She was about 65 years old. She ran circles around all the 48 and 55-year-olds. They go, girl, how do you do it? And then they say, well, I don't know. I just feel so good all the time. They're like, how do you feel so good all the time? Well, I had her on a good diet, a good regimen of things. Her blood pressure was balanced. Everything was good. That was one of the complaints she had. And her daughter calls me or I guess it was a Friday afternoon. I got a message that she needed some help, that her mom, my patient, was blood pressure was running high out of the blue. And she's panicking. And the doctor told her she got off her blood pressure medications, that she was going to die. You got to get back on those drugs. They're going to save you. So I call and I talked to her and I said, okay, let's just talk through this. You've been great for months. What happened? Did you do anything crazy in the last 3 days dietarily? And I knew this lady, and I had a feeling it was probably something. So I had a hunch. And she goes, yeah, I went out to dinner with my sister the other day. And I said, what'd y'all eat? And we went through it. And she goes, I had cheesecake. And I go, it was the cheesecake. I said, when did you go out with her? She goes, yesterday afternoon. I said, when's your blood pressure spike? This morning. I said, you've got 3 days. And watch. and I'll call you every day to check on you if you need me to. I mean, just to make sure. And so it was Friday that I talked to her. Saturday, it got about 5 to 8 points lower. By Sunday, it had almost dropped, come back down into normal. By Monday, she was normal again and happy. No drugs. Just we observed something that I had told her to be mindful of. When you eat inflammatory foods, your body's blood pressure will rise in response to the threat. Because do you want a lackadaisical, blood pressure whenever it's fight or flight time? Or do you want a robust blood system that can move blood to the extremities, move blood for fight or flight so that you can either get through the trial or to run from it? Does it make sense?
Yeah. Should those people just avoid it altogether or just kind of balance it out or maybe take a bite? Or, I mean, it's their personal decision, of course, but, I know what you would do. You just wouldn't have it. But speaking, of this lady and, out to eat with her sister, maybe celebrating, what should we do?
That's the choice, right? It depends on the severity. And this is where, there is no good test for this. This is all your own experience. And so my job, Jennifer's job, Dr. Amber's job, my office's job is to help you recognize the changes variables that you bring into the system. This is a chemistry project.
Mm-hmm.
How do they affect you? Most people never have been taught to think this way. So thinking this way is a little bit of a challenge because they don't know what do you mean? I can control my palpitations? Uh-huh. You sure can. Is it? I thought it was they said it was my thyroid. What if I told you it was simply minerals and you don't need to take, a thyroid product? I can't tell you how many times that's happened. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So the blood pressure we can sometimes manage with I have this product called Cardio Plus. This has bios in it, vitamin B4, many B vitamins, fat-soluble B vitamins specifically, and it's got actual heart tissue in it. And that actual heart tissue feeds the matrix of the heart and makes the heart muscle stronger. And so what if your heart just needed a little lift or it needed to be fed? Like treats like. In the olden days, we ate organ meats. In the olden days, this was the delicacy, not T-bones and ribeyes and
cheesecake.
And cheesecake. Yeah, that's right. And so when you have a severe allergy to wheat, dairy, corn, soy, or some food, if it's severe enough, you don't do it. But if you can say, what if she could have gotten away with one bite instead of half the cheesecake? So she was able to indulge and feel like she was like, oh, that felt so good to my taste buds. But I know nothing else below my taste buds, my cellular activity doesn't want it. So I'm going to say no. Right?
Yeah.
And so the severity of reaction tells the tale. So if you're going to break out in hives from head to toe, is it worth going through all that itching and struggle and trouble if you could choose wisely?
It's not. Yeah.
Do you remember in Indiana Jones where at the last one where they had found like the Ark of the Covenant or something like and the one guy he chose wrong and he like his whole body aged instantaneously and Indiana looked at the old knight, the old wise sage, and he says, "What happened to him?" And he goes, "He chose poorly."
And that happens. There's a lot of times, even in my personal life, I know the right choice. I know the wrong choice, but
you choose the wrong choice.
You choose
anyway.
the wrong choice.
Yeah, bud. But guess what? That's the human experience. I mean, we are sinners, and it's easier to choose death than it is oftentimes to choose life. It's work to choose life. It's work to always call in what we should do. Try something.
I'm scared.
It's so good.
It smells like what is this going to do?
So that's just going to feed your heart.
Okay.
And so it's very safe, very nice.
And it has some heart in it. Heart tissue in it, you said.
And it's also, got a sister product called Myo Plus, where we actually use that to feed the muscles. So these guys that work out, they're bodybuilding, or they're just in the gym trying to keep their muscles hardy and healthy and toned up, the nutrients in here feed the heart muscle and feed the tissues of the body, muscle tissues of the body for better function. So it's really awesome, to have this kind of technology available. And I mean, look at it; it's just a little bitty pill.
It's actually a pretty pill. I would call this Heather Brown.
Yeah,
and
Heather
it smells
Brown.
better whenever it is just one pill as opposed to the entire bottle.
380, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but again, I mean, when you have all of that wonder packed into a little bottle, I mean, it's going to have, it's going to have some punch to it when you open that lid. And again, that is a powerful. Let me tell you another cool story about this Cardio Plus. Had this little girl that when I was first in practice, she never talked, and she should have been talking. And but she had a lot of issues, heart-wise. I think she was born with a patent foramen ovale, which is basically a hole in her heart. And it was this product that, could you imagine chewing this? I mean, it really, this one does not taste good in my opinion.
Crystal chewed it, right?
And we had the mom break it into quarters and just feed it to this girl because she was small enough to chew, not old enough quite yet to figure out the swallowing thing. And so we started giving her little quarter bites of it. And by the 8th quarter, so that would be 2 tablets, she said, "More, Mommy," in the back seat of the car. And the mom, because the kid never really spoke, freaked out. She called the office in an absolute panic, and it wasn't really a panic; it was an overjoy experience because it was her first words, like "More, Mommy," and in the best possible. It might not have been quite so clear, but I figured you guys out in radio land didn't want gibberish, but it was enough that Mom knew what she was saying. But she was in tears and elated; she was overjoyed. And what were we doing? We were feeding her heart, her life-giving, circulatory pump. And this pump that is sitting in your thoracic cavity, right behind your chest bone, your chest cavity, is a powerful vessel that needs nourishment and needs to be observed and watched at all times. And in this case, that little girl just needed nutrition. She had a weak heart. She was born with it. Maybe mom and dad had one. Maybe mom and dad had some things happen during the implantation process, the development process, where the baby was deficient of nutrition. And so in this case, it wasn't a food allergy. It was a nutritional deficiency. And that's something else that we're looking for when we're working with patients at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is what is it that is blocking you from getting well? Is it a food allergy? Is it a chemical? Is it an infection? Is it nutrition? Because all of these things play a part. And that's what really makes our job so fun is that it's always different. Like you're a puzzle and my office and I are puzzle solvers. And we get to help you crack your case and fix the glitches that are keeping you from being your best. And that is what it's about to get well, is to always be working at your health. It does take work, though. It takes you making the choice. It's your life. It's your health. It's your choice. And we can only guide and direct and encourage you to move, forward positively day in and day out. Does that mean you got to be perfect all the time? No. Remember, I didn't say you had to be perfect. I just said you have to do your best.
Take a step, one step at a time, one day at a time.
That's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
And if it starts with you drinking 4 ounces of water today because water makes you sick, because you're so toxic that you put 4 ounces of water in and it causes your body to detox, but you can handle the 4 ounces, but you can't handle the 8 because you get nauseous, well, we start with 4. And we start right where your body's at, and that's okay. You've got to give yourself some credit. You got to give yourself some grace. You got to give yourself some encouragement. And if you get those types of extremes where something that shouldn't really cause you problems causes you problems like water, that's just because your body is just filled full of toxins and your body is got a biochemical accumulation of stress. And that bioaccumulated chemical burden that you're carrying needs to be alleviated. But you can't just pop the top on a pressure cooker to blow up. You've got to you got to let the steam off. And that's where we find these gradients. So we're never going to come into our office and you're going to be pushed beyond your body's limitation. And we're going to exercise, caution when we're working with people, because we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that a lot of folks that come in to see are messed up. They got stuff going on they want fixed. They don't have energy because their heart's not pumping well, or because their hormones are all messed up, or they're inflamed and their body's trying to put out other fires internally. And so when we look at, again, blood pressure is oftentimes a symptom of something else going on, not necessarily a problem in and of itself.
Right now it is 9:35. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. Share this video out. If you're watching on social media, share this video, tag some friends, because I promise there are some people in your life that are dealing with issues that we are talking about today. There's a couple questions, and they're pretty quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think. So one of them was, what was the name of the book that you mentioned earlier about the habits?
Oh, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life. And I believe it is, let me just pull it real quick for you. It is Tom Corley.
Okay.
And the guy that, if you do the Audible version of it, it's by Rich Grimshaw, and his voice is initially, you're like, oh no, it's going to be one of those voices, right? But if you just trust the process and you just allow, because his voice is actually kind of neat because it's not just totally monotone. There's bits of inflection in it, and the bits of inflection are enticing enough to keep listening. And but just listen to it through and see what these guys talk about, and all the different habits that the successful people that have gone before us all, that show fruit on the tree, so to speak, in different layers and levels of success. These are daily habits and principles, and wow, it's one of my favorites. And one of my super favorite books of all, not books, it's actually just an audio series, and it's called The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn has one of these really quirky voices also, and some people say they don't like it, but man, I'm telling you, I don't want to listen to just monotone. I need something that kind of, makes me laugh. It, makes me think. It provokes some level of deeper thought, and so monotone, it resonates with us, and it kind of puts us in a sedative state. When you listen to authors speak, so I always like kind of pre-listen to a lot of these things so that I can see if it's a voice that I will gravitate to and with, and Jim is one of those voices that, man, I've listened to this probably 100 times, and it's called The Art of Exceptional Living. And I could just go on and on about all the different things that I like listening to, but I mean at this point, a lot of times, if anybody uses that Audible app, I also use, I just put the boring voices, I just put them on 2 times speed so they sound funnier, and it's speed reading, if you will.
Yeah. And
I can even, in some cases, depending on the content material, I can take it up to 3x speed, or 2.5, sometimes 3x speed. But it's interesting. My Audible goes up to 4x speed. I'm thinking, who is listening to books that fast? But I mean, I can, believe it or not, I can process information at like 2x speed pretty well, and 2.5x as a nice challenge, and I can scroll through data very quickly that way.
that's cool, because if it is a little bit of a monotone, boring voice, speeds it up and kinds of change.
Yeah. Okay. And creating those changes, when you're going through your day to day, is how you keep the brain engaged. Mm-hmm. When the brain gets bored, you get sleepy and tired.
Right.
So we want to definitely keep the brain on its toes. And so when information's coming at us a little bit faster, that's focused in on a topic that we're interested in, then we can we listen harder. And when you're listening harder, what are you engaging? Your brain. So nice aside. But there you go.
Cool. Okay, here's another question as well, and then we can get back on the heart topic and everything else. So this is from April. She said, is there anything you can take for a 10-month-old that has the 10-month-old has mold-induced croup? I've been taking minerals and Congoplex.
Yeah, so we also have a product in the office called Mold Attack, and it's a homeopathic, and it is very useful in detoxing mold out of the body. And then I think she said Congoplex, and what was the other thing she said?
She said Congoplex and minerals, taking minerals.
Yeah,
and Congoplex.
and then the minerals. But I would also come in with, because it's a child, even you as an adult, if you're both exposed to mold, I would, because this will lead right back us into a topic, is we want to start working with the GI tract. We want to put something called Flora Boost in. The Flora Boost for kids is a great, probiotic that will re-inoculate the tissues in the gut lining for better absorption, and it'll overwhelm a lot of the bad bacteria, bad yeast that's present, and it'll increase absorption of those minerals that you're taking, which will help deal with the endotoxins and the mycotoxins that come from mold. So it isn't specifically that, she's mold, that the mold is messing her up. It's that the endotoxins, the chemicals, and the mycotoxins, the chemicals that are being released from the mold are what's contaminating the body. So we also want to put in something called Armor Detox. It's a homeopathic, and it's very easy to get into kids, and it's a great liver detoxifier. So we've got some gut work you should add to that, as well as the actual mold support that helps fight off those endotoxins, mycotoxins, and the liver support, which is the Armor Detox. Now, for an adult, that would be, L liver, or that would be AF beta food, or, I got like so much, so many different products in the office to support the same organ system, because like for the liver, there's 600 pathways there, and for the heart, it's not just the heart muscle or the minerals. Maybe we've got to detox, some aspect of the heart of chemicals that it's exposed to. And so we've got to be able to bring in strategically and systematically a way to get full encompassed approaches around these tissues. Because if you've got an inflammation problem, you want to come in with things that can de-inflame the body, but can also heal the tissue once it's been damaged. And so the heart is no different. And one of the several of the studies that I was looking at with respect to hypertension was the gut ecology, and how much healthy gut microbiome plays a part in whether or not you have high blood pressure or low blood pressure. And so I do gut restoration protocols with a lot of people, because I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again, that 80% of all health, anything that you see somebody go through, anything you've dealt with yourself, a friend, family, loved one, no matter what, it's 80% of it started in the digestive tract. And so we come in with gut restoration protocols to rebuild and to reinoculate and to restore the gut function, because the GI tract is the gateway between the outside world, the tube for which food comes down and is enticed to be broken down and absorbed by these bacterium, or excreted through, or your body pushes out too quickly. And so that tube, that gateway, if it has a leak in it, well, who likes a leak in their house? No one, right? No one wants to see the sheetrock in the ceiling leaking water, or water pouring down the side of the wall. That's never a pleasant place to be. So your body's the same way. If you've got a leaky gut, a damaged gut lining, an inflamed gut lining, or an infected gut lining, you see how there's multiple things that could happen in the same system. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got to figure out, well, which one of those things are we going to attack? Is it a hole in the gut? Is it a infection in the gut? Which way do we go, so to speak? And so that's why you've got to come in and be evaluated. So, those that are hearing my voice and are interested in what we do, call us, 281-554-8600. And those that are interested, make sure that you like, share, and comment on our page, and be a part of what we do at KHEA Radio every week, because I'm telling you, people need this information. People want this information. People are hungry for better information on how to live better. And it really isn't rocket science. And will stuff still happen to you even though you do healthier things? Of course. I mean, we're in a broken earth suit, but it doesn't mean that you have to accept it. It doesn't mean that you have to just, take it. You fight back. I don't remember the scripture, but, those that believe, we have to fight back as hard as opposed to being passive. Don't be passive and just take the abuse of illness in your body. Rise up. I mean, I had a patient yesterday. And this happens, right? She had an anemia so bad when she came in, we weren't able to get to the depths of it to lift her out of that at the speed we needed to get her well. So we had to do some, blood transfusions, and her blood work came back, and it really wasn't all that great. And the doctors told her that she needs to be on a liver transplant list, and she's got cirrhosis and all this stuff. But I mean, you can't make those kinds of judgment calls whenever you're so anemic that you need 2 or 3, blood transfusions to pull your bloodline, your health blood back online, your life blood back online. We don't know what the body's really doing. The anemia was so bad. And so, but I loved her attitude. She goes, "I'll show them. I will get better." And absolutely she'll get better because the body wants to heal. And she's got the bulldog grit that will get there. It's just she had an ancillary incident that caused her blood to basically bleed out, if you will. And they don't actually know why or how, or it was just a weird one-off. And so this stuff happens. But does it mean that she's doomed forever? Heck no. And so no matter what you're dealing with, if it's high blood pressure, if it's a bad report from the doctor, if it's headaches, if it's skin rashes, if it's belly pain, if your kid's always got earaches, if they've always got tonsillitis issues, and they're always getting prescribed a steroid or an antibiotic, let's try something different. Because I'm going to tell you, for those out there that are always on an antibiotic, you have a 6 to 7 times chance of getting a reoccurring infection inside of 6 weeks because the antibiotic doesn't fix it fully. You've got to get in there and restore the tissues. And the gut is one of those areas where we focus because it's the gateway for nutrition to come in and nourish the heart and make it perform better. There's so much blood flow and activity in the gut lining. The gut is really a floating immune system. It's a floating circulatory system. It does so many things. And so when your digestive tract is inflamed and impaired, it affects every system of the body. And so your thyroid could be very well affected by your GI tract health. And so we always want to be looking at you as a whole and not isolating you. Today we're just specifically talking about blood pressure being a problem or blood pressure being a symptom. And I think the message that I'm getting and I think that people are getting is that blood pressure oftentimes is a symptom of something else. Would you agree?
Yeah. I started a new nutritional program yesterday, and it is pretty much protein and vegetables, which is a little similar. I've heard of that somewhere before. We've done some stuff like that. But here's the thing where they throw like a wrench in it, I guess. It's called carb cycling.
Yeah.
And so one day a week,
you get a carb up.
You get carbs, and they call it refeed.
We call it carb up.
Carb up.
Because and I don't disagree. I had a patient that I just told that very story to yesterday. She went 16 days on an anti-yeast diet, which is basically meat and vegetables. You're on an anti-yeast diet is what that says to me. I would be taking that in addition with gut flora complex to kill off, that's dysbiocide and gut flora complex, and you will do weed and feed. You will kill off the stuff in your digestive tract that doesn't belong, the bad yeast, the bad bacterium. Cool. And then we can re-inoculate with good stuff on the backside of it. Well, she went 16 days. And she goes, I just don't think I can go another day. She goes, it's like once or twice a week I just feel miserable. Well, some of that's yeast die-off, right? But some of it, she just needs some carb. And people, but it's going to ruin the program. No, one day won't ruin the program. I mean, to the point is you have other systems in the body that are looking for stuff, right? And so we don't want to make it so dogmatic that you don't have a room for grace. And so having, what do y'all call them? Carb up days or whatever?
Carb cycling.
Carb cycling for y'all. It's great. Put a little carb in there. What do they, like a sweet potato, right?
Right, sweet potato, exactly.
A very clean, nourishing carb that you can put in, and especially the skin. Eat the skin of the potato. It's rich with nutrients. And so when you put that in, that could be enough to kind of like make you feel happy about yourself and make you feel good again. And that good again feeling is just from your blood sugar coming up and other systems in the body getting the nourishment they need while you're trying to starve out another 16 days of bacterium. So what if one day a week you do a little carb up? How do they have y'all do it?
That's how it is. So yesterday was the first day, and then one day a week you have so many carbs that you're allotted, like sweet potatoes or half a cup of brown rice, or there's a whole different a list of stuff that you're allowed. I'm just trying to figure out for my research and taco love, like how many if I had a corn tortilla, like how many.
Oh, dude! But what I would consider is try those the almond flour tortillas.
Okay.
I mean, it's not exactly a carb per se, but it might be enough of a good fat and that could give you what you're looking for on that carb.
Stay away from the corn. Yeah,
exactly. I'm just proposing, right?
Sure.
But these are ideas, and this is how you play the game. Once a week, you got what a great experiment, Gardy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once a week, this week you do corn and jot down for the next 3 days how you feel. Next week, try sweet potato. Jot down for 3 days how you feel. And see like which carb up day gave you the most bang for your buck. And you might find, I wonder if I can, now the next question is, can I reproduce that feeling, right? So you give yourself, let's say it was sweet potato, because sweet potatoes, it happens to be my carb up of choice, right? So when I need a little lift and I can tell my body's not performing well for this reason or that, I know that that's my carb up, and I'm going to do that because I know my symptoms, that I'm going to have half a sweet potato. And that's going to make my emotions feel better. I'm going to feel happier. I'm going to feel more robust and more alert and alive to go tackle the day and to work with patients and to work with my kids and to work with my wife and to be a good dad and all the things that we got to do as people. And but let's say that yours is corn. You're fine with it. Well, you found it. But this is the experiment. Find who's going to give you the most bang for your buck. And that is you learning how your body operates. And what works for you oftentimes won't work for Crystal or myself or anybody else, And we all have to figure out to some degree our own journey. And we build you a box, so to speak, only to throw the box away. The box is just to get you started on the road. But ultimately, I want you to recognize that Congoplex, because it's always in every one of my protocols. Have you ever noticed?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Why is that? Because the body is always dealing with infection. The body is always, let me say that again, always dealing with infection. And you don't want infection stressing out your heart. And so Congoplex is a vital piece. I think it should be in every medicine chest across the country because it has so many key vital nutrients for growing children, for the immune system, for the heart itself. And so making the body work for you. So if it was gut inflammation, the Cataplex AC in that product will help heal that system. And, if it's the immune portion, it's the calcium lactate. If it's the neurological piece, it's the ribonucleic acid that's in there. I mean, every product that I pick and design for people, I'm ultimately starting them on a path to learn how to trust a new paradigm of healthcare for them, their family, and ultimately their friends and family that are extended out from their immediate circle. And health is where it starts. Like all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is that fundamental backbone. If you don't have good tools in your tool bag, you're going to be left to just take the steroid or just take an antibiotic or just be reliant on a blood pressure pill or just be reliant on, a diuretic of sort. We don't want that. That doesn't fix the problem. It really doesn't. It just paints over rust, and which is why, and I can prove this, that every patient that comes in to me with high blood pressure as a problem they've been dealing with for years, they're on 5 to 6 high blood pressure medications. Why don't they take them off the ones that didn't work?
I don't know.
I mean, why do you got to put 6? Why did one stop working? Because it never fixed the problem.
How many take if they're taking like 6 and it's like one of these will work, right?
Yeah,
and then you don't know which one works.
Yeah, or they're hoping to amplify it or to create some sort of chemistry set. I mean, any good pharmacist will tell you that the 3 medications and above, you can't predict the amount of biochemical interactions that are going to be happening in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, today we're talking about heart. We're talking about hypertension. We're talking about, all these different, faculties that allow our body to perform like it's supposed to or to get a grasp on so that your body can get a grasp and heal, or things that you're doing day in and day out, making choices that could potentially cause inflammation and drive your body faster to the dirt. We don't want you to live so strict that you can't enjoy the parties, and that's not what we're going to be teaching you. We're going to be teaching you how to integrate health care into your longevity plan, and so that you can also then know when you decide to make a not so good choice, as you described earlier, that you have a plan on what to do with that. So like yesterday, patient comes in, man, Chop, I just really want some some red meat. And I ate red meat last week, but it felt like a brick in my stomach. And I said, what else did you eat with it? She goes, I also had a piece of pizza. And I'm like, well, that might have been a bad idea to mix 2 bricks together and hope that you can swim.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But you see, this is what we're up against, right? And so I said, okay, well, the next time you do that, why don't you choose one or the other? And then the next time you do that, take enzymes. Take Enzicor or D-Digest or Zypan, which is stomach acids. And I use these different protocols for out-to-eat people. Like for me and you and Crystal, like we might not need the enzymes and the stomach acids that a 60-year-old might need, because the average 60-year-old, 70-year-old has less than 15% of the stomach acids that a 20-year-old has. They're producing very little. And some of that's nutritionally based, so we can improve that. Some of it's the fact that the system is just wearing out because we've worn it out with bad food choices over the years, and our body's trying to keep up. And so we use nutrition to turn on the chief cells to produce healthier stomach acids, or to make sure that the pancreas is producing healthy pancreatic enzymes, or to make sure that the liver is producing its enzymes to break down other proteins and fats that need to be addressed. And so every system in your body, it's like I always say, which part of the watch tells time? In analogy to what? I mean,
it's going to be all of it,
all
right?
of it. That's right, because and so which part of the body makes you healthy?
I guess all of it.
All of it. And we need it all. So yes, you need your appendix. Yes, you need your gallbladder. Yes, you need your spleen. And yes, even though you have two of them, you can function with one kidney, but you would prefer to have both. If God put it there, he put it there for a reason. And so let's do everything we can do to nourish the tissues, to make sure that the nutrition is right, and we read the signs. Your body is communicating a message to you. Are you listening? What symptom patterns are you dealing with today, like headaches or dizziness? Or what are your ears red all the time? Or do you feel heart palpitations or flutters in your chest? Do you get exertional fatigue where you just walk down a flight of stairs and you're like, my heart feels like it's beating out of my chest? Or are you so tired after something so little of exercise that something's not right? These are your check engine lights, and a lot of times can be fixed very easily with nutritional intervention. We very rarely see, like I described earlier, the patient with the severely low anemic issue. That does not just typically walk in off the street. Most people are functionally ill. But I hope people can appreciate and see that, I know, limitations also. And I know when I need to call upon Western medicine, because in an emergency, there's nobody better. But when it comes to wellness, I don't want to say there's nobody worse, but there might be nobody worse that you want to go see as somebody that doesn't believe that nutrition affects you. And nutrition does. So remember, all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to spiral out of control or get a grip and start moving forward in the direction that you want to go. So listen to your check engine lights. Listen to your body. What is it telling you? And make sure that every week or every day, every month, you're assessing your body's overall input and output, and are you where you want to be? Are you moving in the direction you want to go? And what are you doing to make sure you paint that you're moving in the direction of the painted picture that you set your life to look like after you've done built it? And at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we want to be a resource for you. We want to be a guide to you, your family, your loved ones, your friends, and help you know that you can trust us. You can count on us to do research and to fight for you and to do what it takes to help you get well, stay well, and be well, one bite at a time, one day at a time, one decision at a time. It's not always easy, but that's not what it's about. We do hard things. My homeschool curricula little master teacher says that we do hard things. And why do we do hard things? Because, that's what we're called to do. Even God said, I curse the ground. You're going to have to work with the ground. You're going to have to toil with the ground to get any fruit from it. And so I want you guys to be good at toiling with the ground and working the grounds. And I'm going to teach you how to do that with your healthcare. I'm going to teach you how to do that with the protocols that we build for you so that you have stuff to lean on and trust. And so all life starts at the cellular level, and nutrition is the key. And we want to make sure that we help you get started and get started right. So visit our website at justlivewell.com or give us a phone call at 281-554-8600. And this is KHEA Radio, and we are on the air every Tuesday from around 8:45 to 10. And we're just thankful to be here. And we're thankful to be with Guardian and Abundant Life Church and what Pastor Hallam's doing here to spread a message of hope for Jesus Christ and to allow me to spread a message of health and vitality to those that are hearing my words. I pray that your day is splendid. I pray that your day is blessed. And I pray that you are reading the signs, not only just in your body, but how God is transmitting a message to you. God bless you all. This is Dr. Aaron Chapa, and we'll check you next time.
Dr. Chapa, I need more herbal throat spray. I'm going to have to come in. I also, here, hang on. Let me fix something real quick.
If you just told me.
Yeah, I need some more, and I need to come in. I need to get an adjustment.
Let's do it, man.
Real bad, and my wife probably wouldn't believe me, and I haven't told her this on purpose. So when I've been working out and like my nutritional stuff, right? So I've noticed I've been doing workouts that I don't normally do, and I'm trying to think of the best way to say this appropriately. So, like your glutes, like I'm off. I feel like, and I feel like one side, because it's working harder than the other.
Right.
And I noticed something like a couple days ago, and I was like, why am I sitting funny? Like, this is weird. And I was like,
one of your butt cheeks is bigger than the other?
Yes! That's exactly what's going on. And I didn't know how to say that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that could be, I'm pretty sure once, because I remember like sitting down on the table and you're like, push up. And one leg just being a little bit out of shift is a lot stronger than the other. Then you kind of, put it back, and I was like, okay, yeah, the strength is there. So I noticed it. Like yesterday, I was doing some reverse lunges, and it's always easier to do it on one side and than it is on the other, but I have the exact same weight, on me. So to me, it seems like one side's probably working a little bit harder than the other.
That's right.
And that's the side that's...
And all athletes, too. I mean, when you're doing athletics and you can tell the subtleties in your body, you know your body better than the rest of us. You know what I mean? And but what you're telling us is that there's something wrong that you can ask help for, you can fix. And people say, well, I just want to show me an exercise I can do to fix it myself.
Right.
Listen, the one thing about chiropractic that I can't stand is, yes, I can do, joint mobility. Yes, I can do things exercise-wise to balance out the system. I can't adjust myself, people go and they, pop their back and stuff like that. But you're only adjusting what we call the hyper movable space that is already moving more to compensate for that restricted area. When there is a restriction in the spine or the hips or the joints of the knees or the ankles even, those restrictions are being compensated for by other joints in the body. And so if we can realign, I always joke, mechanics can work on their own car, accountants can do their own taxes, but I can't adjust myself. A $150,000 education, and I can't fix myself all the time. I have to go get help. But I think that's also a testament to the power of the message. It does take a village, and you do have to find people that you love and trust in your life. And at Living Well, that's what we built the practice for. We believe that we set out to find the underlying cause of all disease, and it does. If the dude don't move,
the dude don't groove.
The dude don't groove.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got to make sure that you're able to move well, and healthy adjusting is absolutely. So please come by and get an adjustment because what Dr. Amber and I are doing, and as the practice grows, you're going to see. We're changing the dynamics of the nervous system in a very powerful way. My favorite story around that is I had a patient that was a runner. Her whole family was runners, but she was kind of the black sheep, and she couldn't run very well. And we did all the same tests you just kind of described of testing the muscles, and everything was weak in her extremities. Well, of course she was lagging behind, and she didn't have but 30 or 40% muscle firing capacity. I adjust her. She goes, and I get a phone call the next day, and the dad's, he's excited, but also kind of like big voice. He said, "What'd you do to my daughter?" And I'm like, I don't know. And it was basically an adjustment. And she won a race for the first time, and it was because of turning on neurological tissue and activating muscles that were weak before, and she ran better than she had ever run before because she had now 80 or 90% muscle firing capacity as opposed to 30. And I think that is just wonderful. So instead of walking around with one butt cheek bigger than the other, come on in. Let me tune you up.
Ooh, all right. You heard it here. You heard it here first. Words of wisdom. I didn't know how to eloquently say it, Dr. Chapa, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, I aim to please, my man.
Yes. All right. Hey, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you again. I'm going to have to get some of those blue pants. For sure.
On the clearance rack at y'all's outlet up here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll have to go check out Tanger at the Under Armour store. So next, we're going to be talking to, I believe, Rodeo Dental, which I'm down. And there is, I saw there was a sign, like a big giant sign out there that's getting built. And everything's going good. Could you holler at Miss Joanne and ask her to bring me some water? I'm really thirsty. I was about to start drinking your coffee over there. So if you're watching on social media, thank you for taking the time to hang out. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. Share this out. We had Dr. Aaron Chapa here in studio. We were learning about everything that he offers at Living Well Clinical Nutrition. If you're watching on their Facebook stream or you're watching on Channel 46, we appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Call and text a friend. Here comes Crystal with the giant sign that I saw them building out. Is it going to be able to come in? It has to come in at an angle. Maybe we should have built it in here. Rodeo Dental. Hi. Hey, I like this. Are you going to put it over here? If you can get it over there, Crystal. So I do like that sign. Rodeo Dental and Orthodontics. I have an interesting story about what I would, is it? Yeah, it'll stand up. These ceilings are a little bit lower. I have an interesting story about orthodontics that I will be, I guess I'll have the opportunity to share. Sweet. Rodeo Dental and Orthodontics.
Thank you so much.
All right. And I have this pill that I still need to take from Dr. Chapa, but I'm waiting for some water. And Miss Joanne, I appreciate you. I think Crystal wants to go grab some from Miss Joanne, so that way I can have something to drink and I can take this pill so it can feed my heart. It's a beautiful Heather Brown. I think our guest is trying to get in, but Crystal's running back real quick, so it'll be real quick. Again, hey, let me know, what do you have going on today? It is Tuesday, also known as Taco Tuesday, also known as Rainy Tuesday. I haven't been outside in a bit, and it looks like it is still 100% raining out there. It's 76 degrees. Has anybody had the opportunity to see that I-45 Now weather report? We've been sharing that. We are like content and media partners with I-45 Now, and it's awesome. So it's super local weather. Like it even says Lamarck, 76 degrees, like on the map, and then it goes all the way up to, over like Clear Lake, Webster area, which is in, I-45 Now's coverage area. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, make sure you check it out. We'll be sharing it out if we have the opportunity, at least about once a day, to check, so you can have that to your advantage. I'm gonna sip this water. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
What's your name?
Bola.
Bola?
Yes.
Is that B-O-L-A?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're live on Facebook right now. We're live on Channel 46 in Houston as well. We are not live on the FM, but we will be here in a bit whenever we all get situated. So, hey, I like your sign back there.
Thank you.
Rodeo Dental.
Yes.
You guys are out of Houston, right?
Actually, we're out of Texas. So we have our majority of our offices are near the Rio Grande Valley.
Sweet.
Like Brownsville area.
Okay, cool. Where are you from?
I am from Houston. I was born in Houston, and then our family, we moved in the Clear Lake, Webster area. So I kind of grew up in Lake City for the most part.
Okay, awesome, cool. That's where I live. That's where Crystal lives.
Okay.
And that's where you live, so we got
Yeah.
a really cool thing going on in here. So Rodeo Dental started in the Rio Grande Valley down there. I have some family from Mission, so kind of
Cool.
in that area. Who started it, and how long has it been going on?
Oh, wow. Okay, so we have 3 owners, and
Okay.
another reason why I love working at Rodeo, they're all friends. They grew up together. They're all dentists. All of their parents are dentists. All of their grandparents are dentists.
What?
Yeah, it's a kind of an amazing story. But they went to school together, became dentists together. After they each respectively graduated, they started seeing that they could make dentistry a lot better. And I think that they used their friendship and also the resources that they had to make all these offices what they are today.
Cool.
So they kind of, founded it together.
That's awesome. So what we're going to do is make that switch, go on to the FM right now. We'll get you reintroduced and talk about everything you guys got going on. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, cool. We got this. There we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:10 on a beautiful rainy Tuesday morning. We had Dr. Aaron Chapa here in studio, and now we have Bola, who is going to be sharing about rodeo, dental, and orthodontics. We're going to learn everything that they have going on, where you can check them out, and how you can get involved. So, Bola, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? I'm sharing the video.
Okay, awesome. I'm doing really good, and I'm excited that you're here because I have a story that I think is interesting, at least. It happened to me, and it's been going on for a little over, October would be a year. Mm-hmm. So you probably have heard of, and I'm not going to say any specific companies, but the direct like orthodontic trays. Like they're clear. So what they do is you put them in, and then you make molds, send them out,
right,
and then they send you like the whole thing. So
yeah.
I looked into that last October.
Okay.
And they sent it to me. My issue was I sent them back, and they said that I didn't get enough of the tooth that had to go all the way to the gum. So they send me another tray. I said, okay. I said, is there anybody else around here where I can just go and have them do this for me? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. The customer service that they had was actually excellent. It was great. So yesterday, I would try this every month or so because they had like practice clay, and I could never do it right. So yesterday, I called, and I was like, hey, I don't think I'm ever going to get this unless there's somebody in the Houston area that can actually do this for me.
Right.
I can't do it apparently. Either I have long teeth, or I don't know what it is. And they just are like, you know what, that's okay. And they just refunded me all my money. And I was like, I was prepared to battle, for this.
Yeah.
But anyways, the customer service was great. And I was just like, okay, now I don't know what to do with the rest of my time because I had allotted like the next hour to go back and forth. But y'all do orthodontics there.
Yes, absolutely. So that's another reason why rodeo is so unique. So we do all specialties, all services. So if a child needs braces, grandfather needs dentures, somebody else wants cosmetic, anything, we do everything there. And we just have different specialty days, so we schedule accordingly to that. Okay,
cool. I like the banner. If you're watching on Facebook, or if you see it on Channel 46, it's a cool banner behind us. It has a lot of kids, and it looks like they're having fun. What do y'all do for the kids?
Wow. That's pretty much a majority of my job. And it's not really just kids. It's more so community. Because when you think of community, kind of think of the youth in the community. So we do so many things. So this is a treatment cycle.
Okay.
This was our back to school treatment cycle, and it's called Shiny Grills. And so every 28 days, we actually have a different treatment cycle. Now, with that treatment cycle comes activities. So we had, you were decorating pencil pouches, you had rulers, you had backpacks, you had lanyards that you got to decorate. So we try to keep up with what's going on in the world, so kids can be involved and just feel more a part of the community. So we did that with Mother's Day and Father's Day and the different things like that. So one of the main things we do for the kids is the treatment cycle. Also, we go to many schools. Today, I'm going to 3 schools. Me and my coworker, we're going to Foster Elementary. We're going to, I believe, Woodson Elementary, and we're also going to Blackshear Elementary. And what we do at these schools is we pretty much just hand out free toothbrushes, free oral hygiene products, sugar-free candy, and we also educate in the community. So we do that, and we have our own events.
Is it important that it's sugar-free?
It's super important that it's sugar-free.
Yeah.
Because then it's just kind of like we're like creating our own customers at that point. It's like, why is she giving me candy and a toothbrush?
Yeah. Yeah, because, I like candy. Everybody likes candy, but
I know.
If you don't take care of your teeth and clean them properly, that can destroy your teeth, right?
Absolutely, it can. And, kids get distracted when they walk in, too. They know that the candy is bad and all of that. Well, not bad. Sugar's great. But, it's not amazing for your teeth. So when we walk in, we try to educate them at each one of these little stops here. So we have an arcade. We have a movie theater.
This is at y'all's location?
This is at our location. This is actually my home office, our Scott Street location. So, yes, we have a movie theater. We have an arcade. And then the arts and crafts that go along with each treatment cycle, there's like a little designated area for that as well. So there's always someone in the lobby who is, there to engage with the parents and the children. And we do a lot of our, education at that point.
Okay, here's another story real quick.
Yes.
So I have a son, he's 6 years old.
Yes.
And we were taking him to the dentist before school started.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there. I was actually working, doing something, right? So my wife took him. He went in there and he said, I'm not opening my mouth. And you know what? I'm really glad I was not there. But he did not open his mouth, and he actually he has some things that happened like at a doctor's office that really kind of scarred him towards that.
And that's normal.
Yeah, and so at the dentist, like they had to leave. You know, and my wife was like, "Wow, it was not fun. It was embarrassing. Like, you know, he shut down. He got in trouble. You know, everything kind of unfolded there.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible situation to be in.
It is.
Yeah, and so if there was like an arcade or a movie theater there, then maybe it would have been a little bit better for him.
Yeah, it would have been. And then because it would have eased the anxiety of just walking through the door. Like, how anxious can you be as soon as you walk in, you see Pac-Man and you see Mario Kart? Like, I would calm down a little bit if I saw that. I was like, okay, this is something that I'm comfortable with. I could master this. And plus, we have amazing dental assistants. I feel like we do training almost every day. You're always learning because, you know, we're in an environment where we're doing specialties all the time. So we always have such great dental assistants who are really patient, who really know how to handle kids who are actually on the spectrum. And so they know how to handle all kinds of people, grown, big kids who are like, oh, I'm not going to the dentist. I went to the dentist at 89. I didn't like it, and I'm not coming back. So, like, we take care of everybody.
Have you met my wife? She just logged on. She actually... But, I mean... And kids look up to your parents. Obviously, they look at your, you know, how you act towards the situation. Or like, well, have you been to the dentist lately?
Right.
You know, well, maybe not as much as I'm supposed to. Because how often should you go to the dentist?
Well, just for, like, your normal cleaning and, like, routine visits and everything every 6 months. We actually start our kids at 6 months as well. So your first dental appointment needs to happen at 6 months.
At 6 months old?
6 months old.
Okay.
You got to make sure those gums are healthy before those teeth start breaking through.
That is true. How old can a child be before they get braces?
Well, we don't want to do braces on baby teeth, obviously.
Right.
So usually between 10 to 12 is whenever your adult teeth start really taking in.
So it depends. You know, as long as all the baby teeth are out, then you can
Right.
start correcting that if you need to or want to.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I wanted braces so bad whenever I was
Me
a kid.
too.
I don't know why.
I felt like it was like cool.
Yeah,
Because I
but-
wasn't wearing glasses yet, and I'm like, something's like different on my face.
Like I'm a
Ooh.
teenager. Like I think it was the retainer.
You know, for me, I think it was the colors. Like, okay,
Oh,
I can
okay.
have different
Design.
colors and match my clothes when I smile. What? My God.
And now there's a lot of different options as well because there's the clear, and then you can still do the metal or
Yeah.
clear rubber bands and
You
everything.
can do the trays as well, like the Invisalign. We do that as well. So you can have the little trays you put in. Like you said, it takes time, though.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with Rodeo Dental?
Wow, that's so interesting. Okay, so I am a marketer. So I love marketing, every aspect of it. Just seeing a company go from this to that, it's exciting for me. So I had been marketing for quite some time before I even saw Rodeo. I heard it through a friend, and then I saw online, and I was like, wow, this is a great place. But, you know, sometimes everything that glitters isn't really always gold, you know? So I was so skeptical because it looked almost too perfect.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I did some research, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go for it. I'm just gonna apply, and then we'll just see what happens. You know.
Yeah. So you have a passion for marketing, helping
yes.
business grow.
Yeah, I have a specific passion. I love helping already established small businesses grow.
Okay.
Like beyond the threshold that they thought in their head. Like, no, it's about to be amazing.
Did you already have a passion for dental hygiene?
Actually, I have a passion for all healthcare. My major is healthcare administration.
Okay, cool.
So any kind of ins and out of any healthcare facility, if I can make it better for somebody to get access to health, which everyone should, I would be honored to do that.
So it just makes sense. It
Yeah.
made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, here's another what I would consider a funny story, and I feel like I'm
Yes.
talking a lot, but
No.
I do have a passion whenever it comes to taking care of teeth.
Yes.
And my wife, who is watching on our stream as well, like after we got married, actually whenever we were on our honeymoon, so this was 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, we were out of state, and I had a filling fall out of my tooth, and there was like a hole that I could
Yeah.
fill in there. And I was like, man, this stinks. We're on the road. I got to wait. I came back in town. I talked to the dentist. they said, well, we can't just like refill it, because in my head I'm just like, yeah, pour some of the concrete in
Yeah,
there, whatever you
slap
got.
it over, yeah.
It makes sense. They're like, well, it turns out it had slowly been leaking out, which means that over time there was stuff getting in there. It wasn't sealed properly. We got to put a crown on there, pretty much mold it down. Hopefully we don't have to do a root canal. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then I saw the bill that came with that, which for that kind of work, it makes sense. It's a lot of money, or it was, I thought so. And after that, I've missed probably flossing in the last 5 years. I would say maybe 5 to 10 times max, because I said, if this can save me money in the long run, I'm going to take care of my teeth instead of preventative, instead of taking care of it after.
Prevention is always better than cure.
And when should you start teaching those preventative, like
as early as possible? It's like, it's so easy, brushing twice a day, flossing. And I understand, like, especially if you're on the go and you have stuff to do. I have like a little flosser I keep in my purse, and I change it out. I have a pack of those little flossers, you get from like any store. I have those in my car, after lunch, just floss. Some people don't have the luxury of having a teeth brushing station in their office, but I do brush my teeth at work.
Being that you work at a dental office, there's a specific tooth brushing. We need one of those here.
Yes, there is a toothbrushing station.
Man, we need one of those.
For sure.
I'm jealous.
And so I definitely, I understand that the time restraint, like I was saying before, but you need to teach those practices as early as possible. And I know whenever, if you have kids, it's hard to okay, we're going to brush, we're going to do that. But I'm telling you, the earlier you instill those habits, the better.
Okay, cool. Well, you said that the office that you're located at is off of Scott Street.
Yes, Scott Street. We are the most dynamic group of people I've been around in a really long time. So refreshing. So many different personalities. Miss Chantrice Kelly is our office manager at the Scott Street location, and she's phenomenal. She knows so many people. She's related to so many people. She's involved in so many churches and so many events. She actually was kind of raised in that community. She went to high school in Sterling High School, and then she went to college at TSU. So that's pretty much like her
all
stomping
around there.
grounds.
Yeah, cool. How many locations are there
right
in
now?
Total,
I want to say they're 27, and doctors, please don't be upset. I want to say 27, 28, something like that.
all in Texas.
All in Texas, yes.
Okay, and then in the Houston area,
4.
There's 4.
Yes.
Where are they at? There's obviously
we have
Scott.
our Wood Forest, Scott, Cypress, and our South Houston location in Pasadena.
Okay, awesome, very cool. And are all of them, equipped with all the cool stuff y'all have, or they're a little bit different?
So, every office has pretty much the same setup. They have the arcade, they have the movie theater, they have that. Some offices, I know our Cypress office is rather large because we have a whole section just for our braces and orthodontics. So on the side, there's just a whole nother very large area just for just ortho consultations and things like that, because there's such a heavy concentration of orthodontics in that area.
Yeah. Before we went on the FM, we touched a little bit on how the company started and how that makes it different from a lot of other practices.
Yes.
Can we touch on that again?
Yeah, for sure. So, and I will never get tired of telling that story. I work for a very, very unique company. So all of our owners are friends. They've been friends since childhood. Their parents are dentists. Some of their spouses are dentists. Their grandparents are dentists. So they come from a long lineage of just people that really care about oral hygiene. So after college, they all went to their respective locations, and they were just like, I think if we came together, we could probably do a lot just for dentistry as a whole. Because there's, once you get out of school, the textbook stuff, what you're supposed to do, what's right, what's this, what's that, the structure, the order. Then you get in the real world, right? And then you're like, oh,
this is how it really works.
This is how it's really going. And I feel like we can make this better. And what I love the most about that is how selfless is that? How selfless is it to say, I want to start a business, but I know it will be more successful with these other people together, because each of them are accomplished. They each have their own individual accomplishments. And for them to come together and say that we can do this better together to help more people, I just feel like that is like a seed that they're trying to plant in the entire healthcare world. And I love that I'm a part of that.
Yeah. And then to still be friends.
Yeah, they're friends. Yes, these guys joke and laugh. They're fun. They're silly. They're just regular people. You would never think that they're just like these big time guys that they actually are. They come in our office. They travel. So headquarters is actually in Dallas. So they travel to almost all the locations. They do procedures on people. Some of our patients are shocked that this is the owner that's doing this, because they see all the stuff we do on social media and they're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're like celebrities.
Yeah. How important is social media to I guess your job specifically, and, are a lot of dentists and, offices using it?
I feel like if you're a company, you should be utilizing social media. It's a free platform for you to go out there and display who you are and what you do. We do have a digital marketing team, and they are amazing, phenomenal. They actually they get content from all the offices and they put them together, and each office has their own respective media outlet. So they are truly working on about almost 30 offices running all of their individual social media platforms. So social media is huge for us. That's kind of how we are changing dentistry, by making it less scary and less, stiff. And we're on your Facebook feed, and we're dancing, and we're doing things in the community. We have our mascot Moo, our rodeo bull, that does a little jig or two with social media. So social media is huge. We have a team that's dedicated to that. And then for my job, I am community outreach. So what I pride myself in doing is making sure that each office is a true reflection of whatever community that they're in. So for our Scott Street location, which is like my home office, we have so many bashes and so many events. There's DJs, there's music, there's snow cones, there's face painting, there's slime. That's a big thing now. People are doing slime. Mm-hmm. There's balloon artists. There's so many talented people that come together and then put on these big events, because that works over there. Some other places it's more tight knit. I know that sometimes, like in the valley, that they have like libraries and like the city councils and things like that mm-hmm. are more tight knit, and they do events that kind of cater to that community. So my goal is for every office to have its individual style that reflects the community that they're in. So I kind of paint that picture.
Cool. That's awesome. Hey, what are some healthy alternatives to like the sugary drinks or the sodas, or what should we be avoiding if we want to keep healthy teeth?
Okay, just eat lettuce.
Water, lettuce, and you're
water,
good to go.
Lettuce, ice. Ice is huge. No, I'm kidding. Okay, well, you don't want anything to sit on your teeth. That's the main thing. It's the not taking care of your teeth after the eating, the drinking, the sleeping, the
mm-hmm.
The chewing candy, chewing ice. I had a bad habit of chewing ice before.
Is that bad for your teeth?
It's like, yes, it's really, really hard.
Okay.
You're putting so much pressure, and then you're grinding, and like over and over, you're wearing down the enamel. And now because of that, I have a lot of sensitivity in my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have to use like a sensitivity toothpaste and stuff like that. So you really want to get things off of your teeth as soon as possible, because that protective layer, your enamel, gets eaten away so quickly when things sit. So if you have milk or cheese or anything, soda, candy, sugar, just if you eat that and you don't brush your teeth, it's just eating away at your enamel. So getting that off, flossing is awesome. Water is always great. If I'm drinking coffee, I'll drink coffee, and then after I'm done with my coffee, I'll definitely like chase it with some water.
Just to help rinse.
Just to help rinse that stuff off your teeth.
Yeah, because sometimes that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think of orange juice.
Yeah.
I think everybody's been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you brush your teeth, drink orange juice,
mm-hmm.
and if you do it the other way around, it's still like a weird flavor.
Yeah.
I think coffee would be the same way.
Yeah.
But even like just rinsing, your mouth
mm-hmm.
out or drinking water would help rinse off some of that stuff.
Just getting some of the stuff off.
Because when the sugar sits, that's whenever it can kind of eat away.
It's eating away, yeah.
Ouch.
It takes I believe it's like 20 to 40 minutes that it's the most active. So getting it off your teeth immediately definitely helps.
Okay. So we touched a little bit on the cool stuff y'all do with kids. And then we touched a little bit on, obviously, how to take care of your teeth as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that there is someone like me who needed that procedure, 5 years ago. Do y'all do stuff like that? Like put crowns on?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So we try to be a one-stop shop for lack of better words. We definitely don't want anyone to come in and be like, ooh, we don't do that. No.
Yeah.
Because that we found with our owners who are wanting to change dentistry, that's actually goes into phobia. Like, how, if you think about it, you go to this dentist, this is your dentist, this is your guy, you see him all the time, and then all of a sudden you need a procedure that's above what's been going on, and they send you somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's scary. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, why are y'all, like, why don't y'all do this? Like, why do I have to go to a stranger for this? And, like, even though it's a recommendation, and most recommendations are good because they're coming from someone that you obviously trust, it's still not necessarily going to relax you. So we truly do everything there. There's not anything that we don't do there.
Okay. Awesome. Right now it's 10:30. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on Facebook and on Channel 46. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. We'll travel. Sweet. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, because going to a place and you're comfortable there and you get to know them, and then all of a sudden you go somewhere else.
Yeah, and then it's for something. And the thing is, like, they're not sending you there for, like, you know, a hug. They're sending you there because you need a procedure.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, oh, okay, this is gonna be really intense. Bye. Like, oh, I'm gonna be so calm now.
Man, so okay, I bought one of those, and it's either good marketing, but I feel like it works.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a Burst toothbrush.
Burst.
Is that the one where they? Yeah, it's Burst. Have you heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think, because I got it and my wife was like, "Is that the one Khloe Kardashian uses?" And I was like, "I don't know. I didn't see that sponsored post, but I guess she did."
Well, yeah, I definitely don't know. Is
Well,
it like a spin brush that does something extra?
Well, yeah, it does.
Okay.
It has like these different things. But no, after I saw, I was like, "Oh," and I don't follow them on social media, but they do have. Let me see. Yeah, it's a spin brush, but then they have like a lot of people that, and I was like, is it good marketing? But it works. I mean, it
Is it because the head of the toothbrush is so, like, defined?
spins like crazy fast, and they use like the bristles are made out of like charcoal and something else. So supposedly it'll gently whiten them, and then it has like the different spin patterns, like strong, soft, and then it'll do like a different patterned one.
I mean, it looks cool.
And it also has a timer. I didn't understand. It said you're supposed to brush your teeth for like 2 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And so every 30 seconds, it'll stop. It goes down. It stops. So that way, and it'll run for 2 minutes automatically. So it kind of like if you want to stick on one side, 30 seconds. It kind of breaks it down for you.
Well, that's cool.
Which is pretty neat, because I wasn't before. I was just brushing away and not counting or timing or anything.
Yeah, I did know that. Definitely got to do it for 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Khloe Kardashian just.
Yeah, I'm so happy you guys are on the same team with that. Like, maybe you guys should get together and, like, you know what?
Yeah. It's a good idea. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just going to put that in the atmosphere.
Just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Can't take it back. I'm going to tag her real quick. So,
yeah,
so she'll
absolutely
respond back. Okay. Khloe Kardashian, easy. She was.
Yeah, we heard you use this toothbrush, and we're like, how can we be a part of that?
I didn't get the rose gold like you.
Right.
But mine is black, and it works really well.
Yes.
Man, Miss Joanne's awesome for bringing me this tiny baby bottle of water. Oh, you grabbed? Well, thank you. Cool. So y'all do a lot of like community events. And does Moo, is that what you call it?
Yeah, Moo, he's definitely a celebrity.
He goes out too?
Yeah, he's a huge deal. Everyone knows about Moo. Yeah, no, but if he's needed, he comes out, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a big hit. So another thing we do, we celebrate birthdays. Birthdays are huge. So if you come to rodeo and you are a patient and we have your birthday and all that in our system, whenever it's your birthday, we like to have a birthday cake, and we sometimes celebrate full-on birthday parties in our office. And so Moo is a huge hit at our birthday parties. He comes in, gives the cake, and, you know, we dance. It's a whole thing. So
that's nuts. Y'all have birthday parties at the dentist's office.
I'm telling you, it sounds like it's so much going on, right? Because, you know, we've got the arcade, we've got this, we've got that. But I'm telling you, all of that comes together to really change dentistry and, like, the phobia aspect.
Yeah.
Because I want to say about 2 I don't know which treatment cycle this was, but it was a treatment cycle, and it was for Mother's Day. And we were painting, and we were doing Mother's Day cards, and I believe there was some bird houses that were being made, and just so many things. And like, just the actual like the transition. So the parent will walk in, sometimes not in the best mood, depending on the time, because we start specialties a little earlier, or even if they are in a great mood, we change it. We definitely make some sort of thing happen. So they walk in, they'll see what we're doing. They'll kind of be like, why are y'all painting in here? But we're doing it. Their kids will start painting. They will sit down, and you can see the stress being drained like from their faces. Like they're just for that moment of time, they're just painting, they're just coloring, they're writing, they're making things. They are just at ease. And that, too, has a huge play in phobia. Because if your parent's afraid and your parent's upset, you're going to feed off that energy, whether you feel that or not as a kid. You're going to feed off of that.
Yeah.
So we try to keep everyone at ease. So we celebrate birthdays. We want people to know, like, we value you as a patient because you could go anywhere else. And we definitely invite Moo Moo.
At the birthday parties, does he bring out, like, I would, obviously, like, hey, here's your cake, and then it's like, here's your toothbrush, too.
No, so whenever they leave, our appointments, we leave, everybody goes with a goodie bag. So there's toothbrushes in there. There's all kinds of goodies.
Yeah.
They have, like, a treasure chest. They get little goodies out of there. So that's a whole thing. But Moo Moo definitely, it's a surprise. So they don't really know that we do that. Like, no one, like, who would think that, okay, it's my birthday. I have a dental appointment. I'm going to go do that. Then I'm going to, go do something else. Like, you don't think, like, okay, my dentist is about to give me a cake and, whatever. So it's always a surprise. So that's why we send Moo Moo in there with the cake.
I got you.
Ooh, what's happening now? And they love it. They get so excited.
That's awesome. So we got about a minute and a half left. We'll go back on the FM and keep it going. Cool.
Okay, perfect. What is the FM actually?
It's 99.5.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. All right. If you're watching on Facebook, what's up? What you guys got going on? And where do you go to the dentist? Are you looking for a new dentist? Are you trying to have your birthday celebrated in a way like never before?
Yes. And are you trying to experience something new? No one has ever gone into Rodeo Dental, came back, and it looked the exact same way it was when they came the first time.
It changes all the time.
Every 28 days. It's a brand new treatment cycle. Right now, it's and all of our treatment cycles have meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, our treatment cycle is Waymaker. And Waymaker, like, what is that? Okay, so it is a combination of safari, pirates, treasure, mermaid. It's a whole thing. And what it is that all of us that work at Rodeo are Waymakers. We have our owners that have created a specific lane for themselves, and they have literally paved their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And they empower all of their employees to do that as well. So individualism, paving your own way, stepping outside of the status quo, not running with the crowd. Individualism is kind of what we're celebrating. So we made that fun, and we said that, we're way makers, and these are all the topsy-turvy, crazy ways that you can make your own way. So when the kids come in, or parents, whoever, we take them on a scavenger hunt, and they find keys in different areas. And then at the end, they end at the treasure chest, and they take a picture, and they have decided that they wanted to go their own way, because there's so many different ways to do the treasure hunt.
Yeah.
So.
And that changes every 28 days.
Every 28 days.
Who helps come up with the ideas?
Our amazing digital marketing team.
Yeah.
We have our newer addition. Her name is Lindsay. We have Patricia. We have Tony. We have our marketing director in general, Justin. He does so much for us. And so what they do is that they all come together, and they all kind of collaborate on what's to come, like what message do we want to put out there. So they knew that the message that they wanted for this treatment cycle was to be individuals and make your own way, but they had to figure out a creative, fun, artistic way to do it. The art that they come up with is beautiful. The everything. We have stickers, and I bought you guys some goodies.
Sweet.
It's safari hats.
All right.
We have safari hats. We have all kinds of like little trinkets and things, and the goal is for you to decorate and make it your own whenever you leave the office.
Okay, cool.
So I bought some for you guys.
Thank you. So every 28 days, like, what's the turnaround on that? Like, if it's like 28 days, and it's like, okay, we got like one day where it has to be set up and ready to go with the new thing?
Oh, okay. So with the digital marketing team, I want to say that they're I don't know if you're familiar with elves, but I feel like Santa's elves, they're always working. Yes, your safari hat. Yes, and I bought you some rodeo. You look great in that hat. I will say. Thank you. Oh, and I bought you some rodeo stickers so you can
Sweet, so I can decorate it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm down.
They are just always working. Our digital marketing team. Maybe they sleep. Who knows? But they actually have their own schedule. So by the time they let me and our team know what they're doing, it's usually about a week or two that we know ahead of time, so we can mentally prepare ourselves for what's to come.
I feel good in this hat.
No, and and I want you to feel empowered with it.
I do.
I want you to feel like you are in control with that hat.
And it's not even custom yet. Can you imagine how I'm gonna feel whenever we customize this?
Mm-hmm.
I got some plans. Am I wearing this? I don't know if there's a front and a back, but
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and go back on the FM and chat for a bit, hanging out, talking to Bolo with Rodeo Dental, learning about everything they have going on, and why they do it a little bit different over there. Here we go.
An exciting development.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:40 on a Tuesday, and we have Bola from Rodeo Dental here in studio. What's up, Bola? How you doing?
Hey.
You gave me a gift.
I did give you a gift. You have a safari hat in honor of our Waymaker treatment cycle.
Yeah.
We are inspiring people to stand out of the crowd, and if you have an individual idea or path, to stand in it.
Can you explain to everybody what a Waymaker is?
A Waymaker is a person that essentially makes their own way. So they pretty much have a specific lane that they want to stay in, that they know that they can improve overall things staying in that lane. Yeah. So we're improving dentistry by staying in our lane, and our lane is community service. We love our community. We love inspiring people. We love having fun. If you go on Facebook, if you go on our websites, if you go on our Instagrams, we're having fun majority of the time. It's just, actually, we're having fun all of the time. But the work that you see, it almost looks like, are they working?
Yeah, and I'll say this, that whenever people think of fun, maybe not the first place, the dentist office. You don't think
you don't.
Fun in the dentist office.
You think you're going to spend a lot of money and it's going to be so boring.
Yeah. And then kids, adults, it's just not a fun time. And y'all are changing that.
Yes.
How are y'all changing that?
We're changing that by reducing phobia, encouraging trust. We are changing it by just everything that we do. So when you walk in, I'm going to give the viewers, the listeners out there, kind of like a visual. So you walk into Rodeo Dental, okay? Immediately you walk into Scott Street location. Immediately you look over to your right, there's an arcade. Immediately you look straight ahead, there's a movie theater. If you look straight ahead to the left, there's a play area with a slide and monkey bars and things, and then there's an arts and crafts area. So already you're kind of overwhelmed. You haven't seen one dentist thing. You haven't seen, someone in a DA outfit. You haven't seen gloves. You haven't seen hand sanitizer. You will see that once you go back there. But you haven't seen those typical antiseptic in the air. You haven't had that yet. You actually are greeted with fun. You're calm. And Jonathan Sprinkles, our connections coach, he definitely is the advocate for this. When you come in, it's called the Rodeo Roundup.
Okay.
So you come in, and if you've never been there before, if it's your first time, we give you a Rodeo Roundup tour. So we bring you in, we show you our specialty rooms, we show you our exam rooms, we show you our state-of-the-art technology that we have for our x-rays, we show you our accomplishments, and we show you why we do what we do. And so with all of that, the phobia, the fear, the tension, all the things that you think about is pretty much melted away, because you see us interacting with each other, all of us like family. We're all so close. And you see us interacting with each other, and it's just reducing any preconceived negative notions that you've had about the dentist office.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we change it. We're just taking all those fears away.
You mentioned a little bit about technology. Does technology in the dental industry advance as much as, I'm thinking, cell phones?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
And how do you stay up with that?
Well, we have teams first of all, our doctors in general, our owners, Dr. Zarabi, Dr. Mansour, and Dr. Dagoni. They are really, really advocates of going with the curve, like as far as technology is concerned. So they are always looking for top of the line things that can be added into the offices. They're going to conferences. They are doing a lot of different things to make sure that we stay above the standard with that.
Yeah.
So we have top of the line whenever it comes to our X-rays. We have a 360 X-ray. There's no problem in the mouth that we won't see. Pretty much, you stand still. The X-ray goes around your entire head and does like a full.
The X-ray it physically goes around your head.
You are still,
okay.
And then the X-ray machine is spinning around you, and it's kind of fun. You're kind of just like, okay, it spins, and then it gets a full glance of your teeth. So your jaws, the back, those molars, all those things, not just right here, but everywhere. Then we also have something called DentaVibe, and that massages the jaws while the doctor is working so you don't feel pain. We definitely make sure that we stay on top of technology. So it's unbelievably important.
Well, that's cool. I've seen people, get Botox and some other stuff, and they'll use to try and rub something over here metal, like a massage on the different part of the face, and I hear it helps.
Yeah, because your body's like distracted, like, oh, what's this over here? I don't really feel this over here.
Yeah, I think the last time that I got X-rays of my teeth, they stuck something in my mouth and was like, bite down, and I'm like, I'm trying, and then they like snap a photo and then do the front. So you're telling me the technology has advanced since then?
Yeah, absolutely, and it just makes it easier for the patient. Technology has definitely advanced before. It's like all right, don't move. All right, stay still.
We messed up.
Yeah. Oh, no, we got to start all over. Like, no.
Yeah, the thing for me that I wish technology, and I don't know how they would do this, and maybe they have already, but whenever you're getting your teeth cleaned, my mouth just starts producing, and it's a mental thing, or maybe not, just like saliva. Saliva just keeps coming out of my mouth, and they're just like, okay,
like suction.
It out.
Yeah, it's probably just nerves.
It is.
Yeah, just keeping your mouth open for like long periods of time. I mean, that's natural.
Yeah. All right. Right now it's 10:46. Is there anything else you'd like to share while you're here today?
I just really want people to believe that there are dentists out there that truly care about you and truly care about the community. In 2011, I believe, there was a huge crisis. Medicare said, you know what, we're not paying for braces anymore. And that was a huge issue. People were going into their garage and prying braces off of their children because they had no idea what to do. People who are in their 20s now can't even get braces off that they got on in their teenage years. So there was such a issue. And our doctors came together and took care of over 2,000 kids and gave them free treatment because they just wanted to help, because they knew, like, how unfortunate is that, like, you get these braces on, you think that you're going to have this awesome smile, everything's going to be great, and then all of a sudden you can't get your maintenance done and you can't get them off, so it's just, I just want people to know that there are places that are advocating, that are trying to make things better. Do not be afraid to go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Please come. Everything starts in your mouth. Carriers, plaque breaks off from your mouth, and then they go and they travel into other places. Small arteries, important organs, your heart, your brain, it's just your lungs. It's just so important to take care of your teeth, and it's so important to know that the people who are taking care of your teeth are people that genuinely care about your overall health.
And a smile is important.
It is important. We believe in that. That's one of our 8 awesome rodeo way things is that we believe in smile DNA. Like, it's contagious. Like, if I'm smiling at you, you're gonna smile back. Mm-hmm. And the more inviting you are, it just creates like a wave of like positive energy. It's kind of hard to be like when someone's like smiling at you, like from ear to ear.
And then, like if you have a complex or you're young and you just like have that and you don't smile, someone's like, do they, what's wrong with them? Mm-hmm. Or it looks like some insecurity. I don't know.
It's weird. It's like, I'm trying to be nice to you.
Yeah. Why aren't you smiling back?
Right. Like it's real quick. Just like flash me a little something, a little tea.
All right. Hey, how can people find you on social media? And then if they want to come and visit that location, can you give me the address for your Scott Street?
Yeah. So me personally, Bola Kareem is on my Facebook. Instagram is the Bola Files. And I also have a business page on Facebook. It's Bolo Kareem Events because it's in conjunction with the field marketing. I'm also an event coordinator because we do a bunch of events there. So that's for me. As far as Rodeo Dental, we are heavily on Facebook. We just type in Rodeo Dental, all of the locations pop up. Our Instagram is Rodeo Dental Texas. And for my home office, Scott Street location is 6102 Scott Street, Suite E. We are right in the same shopping center as an HEB. And yeah, just come down. Our awesome office manager, Miss Chantrice Kelly, she's there. She is amazing. People walk in like afraid. They laugh like walking out of the door with her. She's amazing. All of our amazing doctors, we appreciate you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much everything.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And congratulations to you guys. What, 2 years?
Yes.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, I want to meet Mumu.
Yeah.
The
you want me to
horse.
bring Mumu in here? I mean,
Someday, yeah.
Uh,
Is he outside? Is he
right?
waiting in the car?
Just kidding. I didn't mean to get you so excited.
Does he have birthday cake?
Mumu is always supplied with birthday cake and sugar-free candy.
Hey, let's go. All right, this has been KHEA Radio's morning show. It's 10:50. Y'all be blessed. Stay dry. Be safe. I think it's supposed to rain all day.
Yeah.
So
I have my hot pink rain boots in the car.
I always bring like a jacket with. I have my backpack with me most places I go, and I always have a jacket in there just in case. But I do not have some rain boots that are hot pink in there. But
yeah.
I need those.
And I didn't want to come in here with hot pink rain boots. I didn't want you to be like, okay, so who is this? Like,
no,
what
I'd
are you
have
doing?
been jealous.
Oh yeah.
This is KHEA Radio. Hey, y'all be blessed. Bye, Facebook.